Hi everybody, looks like we're live again for the last card of the September card glass. So this is, I always do one that's, I call it favorite layout, along with our technique and our fun fold. And this one is actually one designed by Stampin' Up. They've been so kind to give us demonstrators a card glass that we can use every month. So I'm going to grab this one, and it even has a sketch to it. So I love sketches because you can kind of just take that sketch and then just go with it with whatever you want to use. So in this case, we are using the Jar of Joy stamp set, which is this one right here. And that one is an online exclusive. It goes along with the Jar Punch. With the Jar Punch actually is bundled together with this Sweet Jar stamp set. I believe that's in the main catalog, the annual catalog. But anyways, I just love the online exclusives. I think they have, I like them even better sometimes than the items in the catalog because they are so trendy and cool and nice. So you've got this fun sketch, and we're doing two jars instead of two circles. But if you want to do circles, do circles. And there's actually a bonus project on the other side, and I did that as well. So isn't that cute? I did mine totally different though. They used a circle and I went and used the jar because I wanted to put my ornaments in the jar. So totally different, but I loved how they did the white embossing on the real red cardstock. I thought that was really, really sharp. The other thing I did differently is I used a totally different designer series paper. They say they use Nests of Winter, but I don't think that is Nests of Winter because I don't remember having that green stripe. But I used a really fun designer paper that is brand new, and that is called Christmas Tags and More Mix and Match Specialty Designer Series paper. That's a mouthful, and that is in the new mini catalog. And not only does it have these fun patterns, but it also has some cool little pop-out die cuts that you can use. And I was thinking you could even put some of those in the jar, like instead of the ornament or the snowman like we have in our card that I'm going to do in just a minute. And in fact, I did, if you bought a kit from me and you are not local, I did put a couple die cuts in because we're not allowed to send stamped images with our kits. So I put a couple die cuts, or a die cut that would fit in your jar if you don't want to, if you don't have a stamp that fits in your jar, like this snowman, or if you don't happen to have that Jar of Joy set. But it's really cute, and I love the little gingerbread one too. So we're going to do the snowman today. So let me get my pieces ready to go. I'm using, for coloring, this is kind of a technique card too, because we're using blender pens and watercolor pencils. I actually have a little tiny blue one that I found, so I'm going to use that one. I think it was from a kit. We must have once had a kit with some watercolor pencils, and have a couple of those blue ones, so I'll have those out for class tomorrow. And I juiced up my blender pens. You can buy like a special liquid that that goes in there, and there's a recipe. I think it has glycerin or something in it. So if you are like me, and my blender pens are probably 20 years old and they do dry out after a while, you can rejuvenate them. And I should have tried them after I did, but I kind of just soaked them in the liquid, and then I pulled out one of the tips and put a tiny bit in as well. So it should be juiced up there. All right, so stamping first. Always do my stamping first. So Memento Black is going to be my ink color. Let me move that stamp set out of the way. And I need 2 jars. So when you have a builder punch like this, I like to use a strip, because then you're not wasting other paper cutting out the other pieces of the punch. So a strip like this is perfect. This is 2 inches. So we'll stamp a couple jars here. Our lid actually is going to be on a different color cardstock, so we're not going to use white. All right, next stamp is going to be snowman, and that little snowman fits right in there, like so. Okay, now, oh, here's our real red strips. We might as well stamp our lids. And again, I'm stamping on a little strip so we can not waste paper, because I'm all about saving paper. All right, I guess that is all the black. And our last bit of stamping is going to be garden green. So, all right, garden green, and I'm gonna stamp the sentiment in the other jar here. And then the snowman has a little scarf. So I had a hard time stamping this little scarf and trying to get it even. I did it pretty well on my sample. Let's see how I do this time. Let's see, because there's a little piece that goes in his brim of his hat. I might be sticking my head in your way, so forgive me if I am, but this is really hard to see, this tiny little stamp. There, I even had to take my glasses off. Okay, I did it. Got that little scarf on there. And then we're going to do our watercoloring. So let's move the ink pads out of the way. Hopefully you can see. Get up on my tippy toes. Yeah, it looks like everything is visible here. So when I use the watercolor pencils, I try to just color in really, really lightly so I don't have a lot of lines, because then it's easier to blend out the color when there's not a lot of lines. You can even kind of color in a circular motion too. And that looks good just as it is too. So if you don't have blender pens, it's fine. Just lightly color in with the colored pencils and keep laying down additional color if till you get it how you like it. And then we can take the blender pen. Okay, here's the moment of truth. How is my blender pen gonna do? Oh, nice. Okay. Okay, I'm getting some nice blending there. So I guess I did do all right with adding some more fluid to my old pens. Of course, you can always buy new ones too, but okay. And then when you're done with your pen, find some scrap paper and just color on the scrap paper to get your color off. Oh, and this wasn't in the instructions, but I mean, he's got a carrot for a nose, so you've got to give his his nose a little color there. So got to find the right color. Okay, the big watercolor pencils has pumpkin pie, so got to give that guy an orange nose too. All right, so now we will punch out everything. So we've got 1, 2 jars and 2 lids. I guess all this stamping I did on this card made up for not having any stamping on my first 2 cards. Okay, 2 jars, 2 lids. Okay, and here's my card base. And now I have a few pieces to put together. And actually the hardest part for this card for me was wrapping the twine around. So we'll see how I do this time. We've got 2 pieces of two-tone Secret Sea cardstock as per the instructions. Oh, other side instructions. And the nice thing about using the two-tone, of course, is you can use both sides and get 2 different colors. So we've got the darker color and then the lighter color. So, and they have you cut a little strip off the lighter color. So if I can find where I put my snips, well, here's some. These are my ribbon snips, but oh well. We'll have to use them on this card, and just cut off the end like that. And then you've got another piece that goes across there, and you have a little contrast, a little bit difference in colors. And I think some of the two-tones have a bigger variation in color than others, so you have to check them out and see, you know what, I don't want it. I want it a little bit in further, so I'm going to also cut off that end. All right, now again, just like we did on the first card, we're going to put our twine on before we add everything to our card so that we can wrap it around. Otherwise, if you forget, you could like poke a little hole in the spine of the card and run, even use a needle and thread to thread through your twine. This is linen thread though. So where is my piece of linen thread? Here. So I've got a really long piece because we're actually wrapping it around 3 times, and I ended up figuring out that that was about 36 inches. So if you have a kit, you have 36 inches of twine to play with. And if you don't want to wrap it around 3 times, then you'll have some extra. So this was the hardest part for me, was figuring out how much, you know, exactly where to start. So I want to leave enough on one end so that I can tie the ribbon. So let's just start wrapping it around here 3 times. And now I've got my ends on, both on the same side, which is not what I want. But if I pull it to the center, I think I'll be good. That'll work. I think I put a little extra in here just to make it easier to end up in the right spot. So I think I did okay. So I've got my 3 times around. I have extra on this end, but that's all right because I think I still have enough here to tie my bow. I'm going to move my bow a little bit to the right edge just because that's where I have more twine left. And tying the twine with fat fingers is really hard, but I think we did it all right. And another little tip, if you feel like your twine is a little loose, then just grab that tape like we had in the first card and kind of pull it a little bit, and maybe even a little sideways like that, and just tighten it up and put your tape in the back, and then you'll never know that in the front it was a little loose at that time, and now it's fine. Okay, now I have one tail that's a lot longer than the other, so I am going to even those up, and my piece is ready to glue on my card, ready to go. And then I've got my little tag piece is going to go right below it, and I picked the plaid pattern, although the snowflake pattern is really cute too, so I don't know, maybe I should do the snowflake pattern just so I have some variety here. That's the one I used on my other card sample. Now those are going to take just a minute to set up, for the glue to set up. So let me put something on top of there. How about my block? Just to tighten up that glue so it's not shifting, and it already has shifted there. So see if I can move that piece over. I think I got a little bit off center there. Oh, there we go. We're good. Good to go. That's the one disadvantage, or it can be an advantage if you put things in the wrong place and want to have a little wiggle room. The liquid glue is best for that. All right, and now our dimensionals just need to go. I guess I just did the dimensionals on the sentiment jar. The other one just has a bit of glue. So we'll put that jar there, and the jar lid on top. It's kind of fun to construct these jars. Can you think of anything else that would be fun to put in them? I think one of the stamps from the original set has some hearts, and it would be fun to add some candies. Oh, those little peppermint dots would be fun. Those that were so popular last year. I think they're still available as well. Oh, my dimensionals, where are they? Right here. How about 3? That should hold it. And that one's going to go a little bit lower and kind of overlapping. And then one more lid. Did I use dimensionals on my lid? I think I did, but in this case, even the mini ones are too big for it. That is really thin. So I am going to just use an edge piece here, and I can even cut off that little tip. I don't like it when my dimensionals pop out. And I was just thinking the other day, I hardly ever use my black dimensionals, but if you have dark cardstock, that is a great idea to use the the black ones. There we go. So I've got some dimension there, and I could even add some dots and things around there if you don't like your white space, or some snowflakes or something fun there to add to it. But there is the basic layout: 2 circles, a piece across, and some ribbon or twine, and you can see how nicely that goes along with the layout, and how nice it would be to just vary it and have all sorts of different variations of that card. So I did want to show you one more fun card that I made with this jar of joy. Okay, you see my empty jar there? This is called a magic card, and they are really hard to make, so we will not be making this in class. But I'll have everything lined up so that when you pull the tab on my jar card, it says, "Wishing you the sweetest Christmas." And look at my jar is now full of cookies. Isn't that fun? That's called a magic card. So basically what you have is a panel that goes in between your window sheet and your stamped piece, so that when you pull it up, they go back together. And when you push it back down, they are on either side of that panel. So that's the magic in a magic card. I'm sure if you Google it, you can find instructions for a magic card. All right, that is it for card class. If you are in the Erie, Pennsylvania area, I believe I have room in the in-person class tomorrow, 10 a.m. So just send me a message, and we'll see if we can fit you around the table here. And we'd love to have some new faces around the table for some in-person crafting too. Okay, let's see. Anything else to show you? I guess not. But if you do want to order any of the supplies, I had my picture out there, but anyhow, there's my website, or you can just go to StampinUp.com and look for Kim Wilson. I hope you enjoyed class this month. The PDFs are posted in the group, and happy crafting.